What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 15th Java game development tutorial. And in this tutorial, as promised in the last tutorial, we're going to be finding the first compatible display modes and pretty much comparing display modes that we give our game to display modes that are on the user's video card, and we're going to compare them all against each other and pull out one that matches. So let's go ahead and write a little comment. Compares VM pass into V video card display modes and see if they match. Bam, look at that. And might as well spell that right. I mean, why not? So what we're going to do first of all is name it public. We're going to be returning display mode, and let's name it find first compatible mode. Looks good. Let me make sure compatible mode. I probably messed something up, but we'll fix that later. And now what we need to do is we're going to be passing it in a list of display modes. So display mode, and we'll just name our list modes. By list I mean array. Sorry, I use it interchangeably. So now we have a list of display modes that we passed it in. So now what we want to do is get all of the display modes from our graphics card. So let's go ahead and put display mode and put good modes, and you set that equals video card dot get, and it should pop up get display modes right there. So now we pretty much have two arrays: the display modes we pass it in and the display modes from our graphics card, and they are named modes and good modes because we know that these are good already, so that's why I named them good modes. So let's go ahead and make a for statement to loop through each of these. So put int x, just set this equal to 0, and then put x is less than modes dot length, just like that. So what this is going to do, this for loop, is pretty much going to loop through the modes that we passed it in, and of course we need to end it with x plus plus. So now we're looping through all the modes that we passed it in, and we're actually going to make an inner for loop called for, and put int y equals 0, and put y is less than good modes dot length and y plus plus. So now what we're going to do is we're going to loop through, where are you? We're going to loop through the modes, and then inside that we're going to loop through the video card modes. And what we're going to do is make an if statement to compare our modes we passed in to the video card modes. So how do we do this? Put if display modes match, just like this. And if you're wondering, alright, is this a built-in method or where did this method come from? Actually, this method, display modes match, we're going to be creating this later, and what it's going to do is take two modes, and we'll put the X mode, which is the mode that we passed in, and the good modes. Make sure I spelled everything right. We're pretty much going to be comparing two modes: the mode that we passed in to the mode that was built into our graphics card. And what are we going to do with this? We're going to write, alright, if those modes match, and this is going to be a boolean, it's going to either return true or false. So if it's true, what we're going to do, return, and you pretty much only have to return one of these, since if they match, they're going to be the same. So let's just put return modes x, and modes right like that x. So again, one last time, what we're going to be doing is comparing a list of modes we passed in to the list of display modes from our graphics card, looping through all of them, and when they match each other, we're going to return that mode. And why does it not matter? Because if we compare this one and they're the same, then we can just return either of them, since we're going to get the same result no matter what one we return, because it's only going to work if they're the same. So now that we built this method, what do we want to do next? Well, I can build this method, display modes match, to see if they match, but actually that might take some time, so I'll probably do that in the next tutorial. Let's go ahead and build one more method and get this out of the way. Get current DM for display mode. So let's make public. Oh, by the way, all this is going to do is get the current display mode that you're working with right now. We're going to be using this later on. So public, it's going to return to display mode, of course. Get current display mode. It's not going to take any parameters. All it's going to do is return vc.get display mode right there. So whenever we call this screen.getCurrentDisplayMode function, or excuse me, method, I'm working with C++, all it's going to do is return this display mode you're working with. And if you can't remember, display mode is width, height, and pretty much your bit depth. That's all you need to know, really. So in the next tutorial, we're going to be building this method right here to display modes match, to compare two display modes and see if they match each other. And if they are, return true. If they don't match each other, return false. But it's actually a really confusing tutorial. We have to compare height, width, bit depth, and also refresh rates. So it's going to be a kind of a complex method. It's going to take the whole tutorial probably, but it's going to be awesome, very educational. So thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next tutorial.